You might remember, back in childhood, we had a small magnifying glass. And if you ever played with it, you'll recall how we used to hold it under the sun. The sunlight would pass through the lens, and from its center, a thin beam would emerge. When we placed a matchstick underneath, something fascinating happened. It would start to burn. Now think about it. Sunlight is everywhere, but only in that moment something changed. Did that make you wonder? If you think you figured it out, drop it in the comments. If not, let me give you another example. Back in school, we used to look at tiny slides under a microscope. At first glance, they seemed empty, but once we adjusted the lens just right, a whole hidden world appeared. Cells moving, structures forming, things we couldn't see with the naked eye suddenly became visible. It was always there, just not in plain sight. So, again, something was always there, but it only became clear when we adjusted things just right. Now tell me, are you starting to see a pattern? If yes, drop your thoughts in the comments. If not, let me share one more story. Have you ever tried tuning an old radio? You turn the dial slowly, and at first, all you hear is static. But then, as you keep adjusting, suddenly a voice breaks through. The music gets clearer, and just like that, the noise disappears. The station was always broadcasting. You just had to find the right setting. I hope by now you've started to connect the dots. And if not, let me come straight to the point. If you ask me personally, what is the one formula to become successful in life, the most important thing for me, then I will say, focus. If you ask me what is the one word I've learned in 19 years that completely shifted the axis of my life, I will say, focus. The successful warrior is only an ordinary man with laser-like focus. Successful people are ordinary, but their focus is extraordinary. The problem is that when you go out hunting, you walk into the forest at dawn, the air is still, your bow is ready, you're here for something worth chasing. Suddenly a rabbit darts across the path. Quick, small, easy. You raise your bow, steady your breath, but just then you spot a deer grazing nearby. Bigger, more rewarding, you shift your aim. You're about to release, and then you see it. A majestic stag standing tall in the distance. 12 horns, a rare sight. Your heart races. You forget the rabbit. You forget the deer. Now your eyes are locked on the stag. You chase it. Through thorns. Over rocks. You run. You climb. You crawl. But the stag vanishes into the mist. You stop. You look around. The deer is gone. The rabbit is long gone. And your hands are empty. You return home tired. Frustrated. You sit by the fire and whisper, maybe today wasn't my day. Maybe I'm just unlucky. Nothing ever works out for me. But deep down, it wasn't the forest. It wasn't the bow. It wasn't fate. None of it was broken. None of it was unfair. The truth is simple. Your direction kept shifting. If your mind doesn't stay with one thing, you'll chase everything and catch nothing. And one day when your child sits beside you, eyes full of questions, and asks, why did you fail? You'll sigh and say, luck was never on my side. But the child won't accept that. He'll look at you quietly and say, no, father. If you had just done one thing properly, it would have worked. My friend, life is like this. Running after a rabbit, then a deer, then a stag, then an elephant, then a giraffe. You keep changing focus and the arrow never hits. Focus means to concentrate like a laser on one thing. Focus happens only when behind it there is greed or a clear goal. The problem is not that you cannot achieve your goals. The problem is that you don't even have a goal. If I were to ask you right now, what is your one clear goal in life? Out of 100 people, 99 wouldn't be able to answer. They'd say something vague like, I want to earn money. But that's not a goal. If you think you're the one in 100, drop your goal in the comments, but I have a feeling you won't be able to. Look at the story of Milkha Singh, the flying Sikh. In the movie Bhag Milkha Bhag, he is told to win the race, and the motivation is a glass of milk. He runs with all his energy because he has a goal. Win the race, get the milk. Later, his goal becomes to wear his nation's jacket, then to complete a race in 45.9 seconds, then to have a national holiday in his name. Each clear goal gave him focus, and that focus drove him to endure pain, struggle, and discipline until he won. In life, you also need a goal like this, otherwise you will be distracted. Distractions will always come, like when Milkha went to London and got distracted by women. But then he slapped himself in front of the mirror, reminded himself of his goal, and regained his focus. Many of us also need to stand in front of the mirror and slap ourselves, asking why we lost our focus. Then comes discouragement. People will discourage you, just like that coach who told Milkha, this will be the last race of your life. But instead of getting discouraged, Milkha ran harder and proved them wrong. When you are focused, nobody can stop you. Then you must raise your standards. If today you are at 10, tomorrow you must become 11. If today you are 15, tomorrow you must become 20. Milkha kept raising his standard, sweating more, training harder, pushing further because his goal demanded it. And finally, value your coach. At the end of victory, he took off his medal and put it around his coach's neck, saying, "I reached here because of you." He gave credit to his coach and the army that shaped him. My friends, focus is not about failing to achieve goals. It is about not having a goal at all. I can tell you my clear goals for the next 1 year, 2 years, 5 years, what I want to be, what I want to achieve. I know challenges will come, but my goal is clear. Your problem is that you have no clarity. And today, as you finish watching this video, I ask you, don't walk away empty-handed. Leave with one clear goal, just one, something that pulls you forward when everything else tries to hold you back. Look at where others have reached and let your goal take you there too. And if you truly have that goal, drop it in the comments. Let the world know what you're chasing, but if you're still unsure, then maybe it's time to stand in front of the mirror and ask yourself why. I hope this little effort of mine gave you a push, just a spark to move forward. If you'd like to see more videos like this, make sure to subscribe. And hey, watch them with focus. What did I say? Focus. Thank you.